All right, okay, we're back here on Liquid Lunch. That was Amy Campbell. But we got Sonya Anderson here now. Sonya, great to have you here, and you brought your guitar, so we're going to get some live performance from you today as well, which we're looking forward to.
Great.
But before we get into that, we're talking about what you're doing with home concert. Maybe you could. I just heard about this like last week.
I know, it's crazy. It's like, so I got this idea about 6 or 7 months ago that, there's lots of my friends that are artists and they're really good musicians, and it's really tough to get in some of the venues, especially in Toronto, right? Because there's so many people, right? I thought, well, we could make our own concerts. Then I kind of got rumbling around in my head, and it took a while to figure out house concerts are a unique venue, so it doesn't have to be a home, but it can be a... So I start researching it, and it's going like gangbusters out west. And they're doing it so that musicians' resources or financial resources aren't being used up in hotels and stuff like that. And they actually host the artists overnight, and they do this whole like tour. And so we're doing a little bit different than they're doing it out west, but I just really liked the idea of being able to bring, great performers into like an intimate setting, having, 20 people come out and just have an evening of music. And these are people that, might not want to venture down to Roy Thompson Hall and pay $100 for a ticket to go and see someone, even if the show is a really great show. So that's kind of how the idea got rumbling around in my little head.
And so it got rumbling around in your head, but people out west had been doing this.
Yeah, people out west have been doing it, and their idea was to bring it out to the farming communities, because a lot of the farming communities, they're very rural. They don't go into the city, and that's kind of how... They may
not even have a venue, some of those towns,
some of them
right?
wouldn't even have a venue. Yeah, so they've made their own venues, and I thought, that's I really like the model that they're using out there. But, I thought it doesn't have to be farming communities. There's lots of people in the city that don't want to go to the big venues to see music. They don't want to get dressed up, or they don't, want to spend all that money. It's, an expensive evening. And I thought, it's a really great way for artists and venues to kind of come together.
Now, are you talking about really big name bands? I mean, and when I say big name, I mean Canadian big name bands, where, of course, everyone still has their day job, but still. Right. You know what I mean?
It's big if you can have a day job that's only part-time, right?
But I mean, are you talking about booking bands like, say, I Know the Guess Who's Still Around, or in some form? Like,
we haven't looked at that yet as far as big names, but what we've really been focusing on are people that are really up and coming. So, we've been in conversation with people like, there's a young lady here in Toronto named Alejandra Ribeiro.
I know her. She's been on our show.
Amazing. Yeah, she's amazing. And so she's going to do some of our out-of-town stuff for us. And, there's some other artists that have been nominated for Junos, but I don't want to say their name because we're still in the conversation stage. Okay. But so people that might not be necessarily big name, but they're definitely fabulous artists, and they've been playing the scene for a long time. And
so I'm just curious, where does the impetus come from? Does it come from the artist who wants to get shows, or does it come from homeowners that want to have a party?
Well, it's kind of a bit of both, right? So it's like we're in the process of finding people that want to host these shows. We've got lots of artists interested, and we've actually had 2 very successful house concerts in the past week. So, it's really... I think it's just the whole process of it's going to just sort of work itself out organically, right? It's like,
I guess it's just like a match.
People.
You're like a matchmaker. You're just matching the homeowners with the people the performers.
Yeah, and part of it was out of my own greed. I want to play more, right? And it is more challenging to get into the venues. Now, I'm from Brampton, so I have even less opportunity of live venues to play out there, because it's not like Toronto where there's a coffee house having a guitar, or they just don't really do that up there. It's either a full band or a no band. So, I'm doing some solo stuff up there too, but I just really liked the house concert idea, and a friend of mine and I are working on it together, and she's a real go-getter, so we're hoping that it's gonna...
What amazes me about all this is that back in the early 1900s, 1920s, it was very popular for the elite to have entertainment in their home, whether it was a 3-piece orchestra or a pianist or something of that nature, and have these little concerts.
Right.
And I think what you're kind of doing is you're bringing that concept back, but on a more affordable, more accessible scale. Yes. And I think because it's unique and personalized, would make a very nice accent to a holiday party, whether that's, you know, a block holiday party or something for your family, or whether it's something more corporate that, you know, a lot of corporations are scaling back and doing different style parties, including having parties in the owner's home or the boss's home, which this would be a nice accent too. And I myself am looking to do a charity event in the spring, and I think that would also be a nice enhancement to it. So I'm just trying to point out, like, you know, how would you like to see yourself coming through? Like, what are you looking for? Specific type of parties? You know, what can you do for the holiday season? That sort of thing.
Yeah, so I mean, we have performers that are anything from a solo to, you know, 5-piece bands, and you know, it would all depend on what your venue can accommodate, right? Now, the idea of the house concerts is that people pay, they buy tickets, they come to the house concert, but that doesn't mean we're not adverse to booking bands for venues either, where the artist is just being paid by the homeowner or by the corporation or whatever. So there's lots of opportunities, and there's lots of great musicians that we have that will do any kind of a gig. So if you had a specific kind of music in mind, you know, we could find somebody, or we would have somebody that we could have them do that kind of music. If you wanted something that was just more kind of background, you know, someone playing, but you don't really want them talking to the crowd and interacting with them, you know, we can have that too. Or if you want a show where people are being, you know, spoken with and interacted, then, you know, we have all of that available.
Before we get any further, we should, you got your guitar here, like, we should show people what they might get.
It's a new guitar.
If you were to come to their house and do a little performance for them, so.
All right. Well, this is a song that I wrote. A friend of mine found out that she had breast cancer, and she phoned me. And I'm happy to say 10 or so years later that she's a survivor and she's still with me. And but I wrote this song, and it was about the phone call. When I got your call today, didn't know quite what to say, to make the pain and tears and go away. Well, the news just made me cry, didn't want to say goodbye, afraid to let the sound of your voice go. The summer fun, the school days, it all just seems a haze at the mall, and playing ball, having laughs, we've done it all, 'cause you're my friend till the end. We were just two little girls, dressed in jeans and men in pearls, as the years swept by and whisked our youth away. Well, I look back at those great times, it makes my fondness of you shine in a special way that only I can know. Growing up, wedding days, it all just seems a haze, driving cars, losing touch. We don't lose our way, 'cause you're my friend till the end. 'Cause no matter where you are, you're never very far. You mean so much to me, best friends will always be, 'cause you're my friend till the end. I thought about your call today, figured out I need to say that everything is gonna be alright. And I'll be standing by your side, even for a bumpy ride, 'cause that's what friendship really means to me. ups and downs, we're clowning round. I'll keep our feet firm on the ground, being there because I care. 100 years I'll still be there, 'cause you're my friend till the end. 'Cause you're my friend till the end. 'Cause you're my friend in the end. Thank you.
I'm just curious to know, like you mentioned, there's a couple different ways that you can do the home concerts, and that selling tickets was one way.
Mm-hmm.
But if you were charging, let's say, for the evening, how many hours would you and some of your colleagues book yourself out for, and roughly what cost are you looking at?
Yeah, that's a great question. So typically a show would be an hour to an hour and a half, and it's $15, so it's really affordable. And the host would provide some light refreshments afterwards, coffee, tea, finger foods, that kind of thing. And so the whole evening would probably be about 3 hours. So it's a nice, intimate show, and sometimes the artists will play more than their hour and a half, but typically we tell people about an hour and a half of music, and then coming in and socializing after. So yeah, it's a really nice evening.
And for the whole evening, based on what you're saying, you're not looking at a huge investment there, right?
No, not at all.
Especially if you did like a potluck or something.
Yeah, right. And the artists get 60% of whatever the evening takes. So we'd like to have a minimum of 20 people at the show, but it can be more than that if your venue can hold more than that, right? It can be 50 people. We did one, a friend of mine did one a couple of weeks ago that was 50 people. So that was just because that's what the venue could accommodate. But so it's minimal investment, and the artist walks away with 60% of the evening, and the host gets a little bit for their time and trouble, and so it's really great.
And what type of styles of music do you play? All genres, or
Me personally, or the artists? Me personally, I have a huge repertoire. Play a lot of 50s and 60s, a lot of folk, a little bit of country. I get into the heavier stuff, depending what I'm doing, especially my kids around.
Metallica?
I do know a couple Metallica tunes. The girl I wrote the song for actually a big Metallica fan, so I've been trying to learn some Metallica for her.
But then I guess your other contacts could play anything.
Yeah, we actually have a folk artist. We have she's calling herself an alternative folk artist, so it's a lot of stuff she's written, but it's got a bit of a sort of a Latin feel to it. We have classical musicians.
Disco?
So. I don't know if
yes.
I have someone who might play disco.
It's not too late to have that big disco party you've always wanted.
Nice big disco party.
That's right. We could.
And dancing.
And tight jeans.
Yes.
Or if you wanted to do like a special event, like, I don't know, let's say a special birthday, or I think this is very unique, and
Yes.
I think it adds an element to a basic boring house party.
Yes.
Beyond
Oh,
turning
totally.
on the TV. Like, let's say even on New Year's Eve, right? Some people have people over, whatever they want to.
You don't want to go down to Maple Leaf Gardens to see Rush. You can have Rush play in your living room.
You can have a Rush-alike or something.
And you don't have to turn on the TV and just expect, let's sit around, watch the TV, eat some Chinese food, and be happy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, this is a really great component.
Yeah.
Maybe not just for New Year's or Christmas, but the whole year long. There's always a reason to celebrate.
Well, and I think lots of people like to have this kind of thing going on in the summer because people have decks at their cottage. They can have like a gathering in their yard, and all the neighbors can come, so no one's going to complain about the noise. And
even I think it is great for the summer for that reason, but. In the middle of winter, like January, February, you're broke. You have no money left after Christmas gifts.
Yeah.
And you get the blues, right? Not everybody can afford to go on a vacation or whatever. This is a great break.
So when you got the blues, you can go out and listen to the blues.
Exactly.
Or no, you can stay at home and listen to the
You
blues.
can stay home.
Or you have the gatherings, and it's also sometimes it's a bit of a letdown after Christmas, because there's a big rush of parties and entertaining, and then kind of not, and then some people like to do like the January, February thing, or a winter carnival type thing, and then come inside for a hot chocolate or whatever, and have some music. That would be nice too.
Yeah, and there's lots of
there's the event plan going.
But there's lots of venues, and there's lots of great artists that they really just want to share their music.
Yeah.
They're not. It's not about the money for the musicians. It's just really about being able to be out there and share their music and share the stuff they've written, and or show their prowess at covering other artists, and that's just really what it's about for them.
No, I guess it's really, if people want to get in touch with you, either people who want to have a party can get in touch with you, but also can artists get in touch with
Absolutely.
you? They want to get on your inventory kind of thing?
Yeah, so if they want to get on, I'm calling it our playlist at this point in time. There's a very informal audition process, so if they've got a video on YouTube or something so I can hear them, even if they just want to throw something on a tape recorder and they can get it to me. But basically, that's what it would be. They would just have to get in touch with me, and then I would just have to hear something from them so I can get a sense of what they're about, see maybe a set list or
and
that kind of thing.
What's the best way for them to?
Best way is to email me at Sonya, Sonya, at CompleteHarmony.com. And
That's a great name, Complete Harmony. With
I know, and
music and
and
all the
interestingly
genres.
enough, that wasn't what the business started out as. This is sort of a new stream of the business. It's actually astrology and other things. So.
We didn't even get into that. We'll have to have you back. Okay, but before you go, because since you just mentioned that, I forgot about that. What's going to happen in 2012, astrologically speaking?
The world is going to end in 2012. No.
Really?
Am I going to meet that guy I've always wanted?
I don't know. You'll have to call me. We'll talk.
Okay, I'd love to do that.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have so is that your website too for this
Yeah,
business?
CompleteHarmony.com, and I'm working on another website that will actually have some kind of a name about the house concerts, but it's not up and running yet. So at this point in time, CompleteHarmony.com is the sort of umbrella for
All right.
it. Yeah.
Do you have an astrology website too? You want to plug?
It's all on there.
It's all there.
On CompleteHarmony.com. Yep.
The harmony of the spheres.
The harmony of the universe.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Would you like to, Sonya? Great to meet you. Thanks for coming in today.
Thanks.
Would you like to take us out
Sure.
with another song, and we'll say goodbye. That's it for the show, Janette. But you can say one little thing, and then we'll.
Okay, I'll be back on December 13th with the Christmas episode.
Oh yeah.
And we have some really cool stuff coming in for that. Great guests. And I just want to also say that I have a giveaway too today for anyone who wants to email me, Janette at JANETTE at yourmarketingmagnet.com. You can have a 1/2 hour free marketing assessment to apply towards any marketing program, whether it's trade shows or any of the other topics I've discussed.
Fantastic. Okay.
Thanks.
Janette, thanks as always for doing this on a Monday. And Sonya, if you would,
All
we're going
right.
to say goodbye to everybody. Thank you, Sonya, and we're looking forward
Thanks
to
a lot
this
for
song to
having
take
me.
us out.
It's a little bit funny, this feeling inside. Not one of those who can easily hide. Oh, I don't have much money, but boy, if I did, I'd buy a big house where we both could live. If I was a stalker, and then again, or a man who makes potions in a traveling show. Oh, I know it's not much, but it's the best I can do. My gift is my song, and this one's for you. And you can tell everybody this is your song. It may be quite simple, but now that it's done, I hope you don't mind, I hope you don't mind that I put down in words how wonderful life is when you're in the world. Sat on the roof and kicked off the moss. One few of the verses, well, they got me quite cross. sun's been quite kind while I wrote this song. It's for people like you that keep it turned on. So excuse me for getting what these days I do. You see, I've forgotten if the green or they're blue. Anyway, the thing is what I really mean. Yours are the sweetest eyes I've ever seen. And you can tell everybody this is your song. It may be quite simple, but now that it's done, hope you don't mind. I hope you don't mind that I put down in words how wonderful life is for your